The secret to having it all is knowing you already do. Let me describe a feeling to you, and I want you to tell me if you've had it. You're doing fine. Your life is honestly okay. But then you open your phone and you begin to scroll. And there's the couple who looks happier than you, the friend whose career took off, the family that's on a beach that you can't afford, the person who has a thing that you've been quietly wanting for years. You scroll through all of that, and then in about 4 seconds flat, after you've looked at all of those things, your life begins to feel small, disappointing, and insignificant. Sound familiar? And it seems like everyone else has got a better deal in life and you're just stuck with the one that you have. You've probably heard of this saying that the grass is greener on the other side. And some people believe it. We organize our whole lives around it. We leave good things chasing greener things. We trade what we have for what they have. Look, you may have heard this before, but the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And there's a secret inside of that, a secret that most people chase their whole lives and never catch. And it's this. The secret to having it all is knowing you already do. Let me show you why that's true and why it's so hard to believe. So as we mentioned earlier, the lie that the grass is greener on the other side, that lie says that the problem is your field. It's your circumstances, your spouse, your job, your house, your body, your season of life. The lie says that if you could just get a different field, a greener one, then you would finally be satisfied. So people act on it. They leave the marriage, they quit the calling, they quit the assignment. They abandon the thing that was actually good because somewhere on the other side of that fence, the grass looks greener. And here's what they discover almost every single time. They get to the other side, and a few months later, that grass that was once green begins to brown. And it's because they brought themselves with it, those same restless eyes that can make any field look dull. Have you ever noticed that the grass is always greener from a distance? You're never standing in the grass, you're always looking at it from far away, from over the fence. And distance hides everything. Distance hides the weeds. Distance hides the bills, the arguments, the struggles, the loneliness. You're comparing the inside of your life to the carefully edited outside of someone else's. You are comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. And of course you're losing. The game was rigged before you even started playing. And the deepest problem isn't just the comparison, it's what the comparison does to your eyes. It trains you to see what's missing. And if you're always looking for what's missing, no field will ever be able to satisfy you. In fact, psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called hedonic adaptation. Now, previous episode we have talked about its cousin, the hedonic treadmill. So what is this one? Hedonic adaptation is simply this. It says that your mind adapts to whatever you have until it stops registering as good at all. The home you once dreamed of just becomes the house. The person that you couldn't live without now just becomes a person you just ignore at the dinner table. The job that you prayed for now becomes the job you complain about. Nothing about the field has changed. It's just your perception and perspective have changed. The good is still right there. You've just stopped watering it. While your own grass is fading with familiarity, their grass over there seems to be glowing. And it's all of this is from a distance, so now the gap just looks enormous. But it's an illusion of perspective, not a fact of reality. Now, I want you to do this thought experiment. I want you to imagine the person that you envy the most, the one whose life looks greenest from where you stand. Now imagine someone somewhere scrolling past your life and feeling the exact way that you feel about that person you envy, wishing they had what you have, aching over your field. In fact, it's probably happening right now. Someone is envying the very life that you are discontent with. And discontentment is not a circumstance problem. It's a perception problem, which means a change of scenery will never fix it. Only a change of sight will. So the real question is not, how do I get a greener field? The question is, how do I get a new eyes, a new perspective, in the field I'm already standing in? And that, I'd argue, is one of the central things that the scriptures are trying to teach us. So here's a truth that I want to build everything on. Contentment is not getting what you want. Contentment is wanting what you've already been given. And those are not the same things. They're actually opposites. One is a chase that never ends. The other is a rest that's available right now. The grass is greener where you water it. And most people are dying of thirst standing right next to the hose because they're too busy staring at someone else's lawn to pick it up. Now, I have to be careful here because there is a counterfeit version of this. I'm not telling you to settle. I'm not telling you to give up on your dreams or ignore real problems or stay in a situation that's destructive and unhealthy. Watering your grass is not pretending that the weeds are not there. It's actually the opposite. It's actually tending to the field instead of fantasizing about a different one. You see, there's a difference between holy ambition and restless envy. Holy ambition says, I want to make the most of what I've been given. Restless envy says, what I've been given isn't enough because of what they have. One is rooted in gratitude and grows things. The other is rooted in comparison and kills things. So here's exactly what's happening. It's not actually about the field at all. It's a worship problem wearing a circumstance costume. When I'm convinced that the greener field will satisfy me, essentially what I'm saying is that thing has the power to make me whole. I have taken a created thing, a relationship, a house, a status, a body, and I've made it become the source of my peace. I've asked it to be God. And anything you ask to be God will disappoint you every single time. And it's not because it's bad. None of those things are inherently bad, but it's because those things were never able to carry that weight. The reason no field is ever green enough is that you're asking the field to do something only the maker of that field can do. Now, let's shift gears, and I want to take you to a man in a prison cell. It's the Apostle Paul writing to the church in Philippi. Now, I'll give you just a short, brief context. So he's in chains, and he doesn't know if he's going to live or die. And by every external measure, his field is completely barren. And I'm going to read you what he writes. He writes this in Philippians 4. He says, I have learned in whatever situation I am in to be content. And then he says it again plainly. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. So I want you to stop on that word, then zoom in. He said secret, and the Greek word there is memyēmai, I think. Anyways, and it literally means to be initiated. It's to be let in on something that's hidden that outsiders don't know. So essentially, Paul is saying contentment is not a personality trait. People aren't just born chill. He's saying it's an initiation. It's a secret that you get let in on. He's saying that it can be learned. In fact, Paul actually says it twice, that he says, I have learned. It wasn't automatic even for him. He had to be taught it. He had to learn it in prison cells, in shipwrecks, in storms, in hunger. And then comes the next line that most people read out of context, is this. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. We slap that verse on coffee mugs and gym walls like it's about winning. But if you read it where it actually is, it's not about achievement. It's about contentment. Paul's saying I can be content with plenty or with little. I can water grass even in a prison cell through the one who strengthens me. Paul found greener grass in a prison cell that most people find in a palace, because contentment was never about the field. It was about the one who he was rooted in. And here's a secret behind the secret. If you guys look at the verse right before that, Paul says that the Lord is near. That's the foundation. The reason that Paul can be content anywhere is that the most important thing goes with him everywhere. You can take Paul's freedom, his comfort, his reputation, his safety, but you cannot take the presence of God. And if that is your treasure, then no field can bankrupt you, and no greener grass can complete you because you are full. You're whole. In fact, Jesus says something very similar to this in Matthew chapter 6. He says, don't store up treasures here on earth where moth and rust destroy. But he says, store up your treasures in heaven. And then the line that he says next, wherever your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And that's exactly why your eyes keep drifting to the fence. It's because your heart follows your treasure. If your treasure is greener grass, then your heart will live over there, restless, envious, and never home. But if your treasure is the one who's near, your heart finally has a place to rest. Right here, in this field, the one you're standing in. You will never truly feel at home until your treasure is something that this world cannot relocate. Put your treasure in a field and your heart is just constantly climbing fences. Put it in God and your home is wherever you stand. So how do we do this practically? First, you're going to audit your inputs. You cannot keep pouring envy to your eyes and expect contentment to grow in your heart. If a feed or an account or a habit consistently leaves you feeling like your field is dull and theirs is green, that's not neutral. That's poison going in, so you need to cut it out, mute it, fast from it. Guard your eyes because your eyes are training your heart. That's why it tells you to guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Proverbs. Second, name your grass out loud. Because discontentment, it thrives in the vague. So we need to get specific in the opposite direction. Every day, I want you to name 3 real things in your field that you are currently already standing on. And get specific, don't be vague. It could be the person who's actually in your life, someone that means a lot to you. It could be the roof that's over your head, or the air and the breath that's in your lungs. You see, gratitude is just attention pointed at what you already have instead of what you lack. It's literally watering your grass with focus. That leads me to our third one, which is water your grass. Don't just watch it. Now, this is the active part because contentment is not passive. I want you to pick one thing in your real life. It could be your marriage, your work, your home, a friendship. And instead of wondering if something greener exists, invest in that thing this week. Tend to it, pour into it, because things grow where attention and effort go into. The greenest field in your life will almost always be the one that you decided to actually water. Fourth and lastly, relocate your treasure. This is the root of all of this. And I want you to ask this question to yourself honestly. What am I asking to make me whole? What am I asking to make me whole? If it's a circumstance or a situation, then you are always going to be one fence away from peace. So I encourage you to move your treasure to the one who goes with you everywhere. When he's your treasure, every field becomes survivable. And most of them even become beautiful. Now, I want to leave you with this. You can spend your whole life climbing fences, leaving good fields for greener ones, always arriving, always disappointed, always certain that the next field will finally be the one. There are people who climb fences until the day they die, and never once stood still to notice that the field that they're already in was good. Don't be that person. The grass was never greener on the other side. That was just an illusion of distance. The grass is greener and has always been greener. Wherever a human being decides to stop comparing, pick up the hose, and water what they've already been given. And here's the secret, the real one. The one Paul learned in a prison cell that most of us miss in our comfortable homes. You are not one field away from having it all. If your treasure is the one who's near, if your heart is rooted in something that this world cannot take away, that cannot relocate, then you already have the thing that's ever going to make you whole. Everything else is just grass. Good grass, grass that's worth tending, grass that's worth being grateful about, but just grass. The secret to having it all is knowing you already do. So stop staring over the fence, pick up the hose, and go water your grass. Keep the faith.
Push it to the limit, I can't go no more.